is what Juno's booties look like now. I have not washed them since we've had them, so they're quite dirty. But I do want to get them washed up before I work on fixing the toes on these. So I want them nice and clean and able to take the repair on, clean surface. So this is what they look like for reference, some of the toe damage. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to wipe them off with a dry cloth just to try to get some of this loose dirt off. And then I will be hand washing them. I know some other boot companies recommend that you can put them in the washer, but to be safe, I would prefer to hand wash them. I'm going to be using a disinfectant soap. I'm going to be using Dawn. And then I'm going to let them sit out to dry. So let's get started. Booties are all nice and clean. I'm really happy with how bright and orange they got again. So now they will sit out to dry, and then we can get working on repairing those toes. Since shoe goo is a clear substance, I would like this to not look so blatantly worn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over the spots where you can see the orange with a little bit of this paint. I didn't have black, but this is like a dark gray. So I'm going to use this and cover up those spots that have the orange showing through. And then that way when I cover it up with the shoe goo, which is clear, it won't still look as worn as they do now. Here's what they look like after adding a little bit of the paint, and so I'm pretty happy with it. It makes it so you just can't see the orange, so it's definitely more of like a cosmetic thing than a strength thing, but I just like the way they look a little bit better without the orange coming through. So now I'm going to let this dry, and then we will apply the shoe goo. This is what I'm going to use to repair the booties. So the cool thing about shoe goo is that it runs anywhere between $4 and $7, and look how much you get. You get like a bunch. It dries flexible, and it's clear. It has a rubber-like consistency, so it's not going to crack and get brittle and break and stuff like that. And then supposedly it's water resistant immediately. So I've never used it before. This is going to be the first time, but I do think it will be perfect for repairing these booties because it's supposed to work on leather, rubber, vinyl, and canvas. So the bottom of these boots are like rubber, and then obviously there's canvas underneath. So let's see how this works. So the directions say to make sure the surface is clean and free of dirt. We've done that. It says to use a thin coat for waterproofing and protecting, and if we're trying to build a thick coating, make sure you allow it to dry for 3 to 4 hours before applying a second coat. Allow repair to cure for 24 hours depending on the material and texture, sometimes up to 48 to 72 hours. And don't get it on the table. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm put it in the cap or the cover of the packaging. Whoa. And not get it everywhere. It's like spewing out. Okay, so we'll put it in there. Yowzer. Okay. So I'm going to use Q-tips because that's the only disposable tool that I have. And I think I'm going to put it all across the toe to help protect against future wear too, rather than just on the parts that are damaged. So let's get into it. This was the worst boot out of all of them, so I just applied the shoe glue to all of them and I went all the way across like the toes, and then like a lot on the part that was torn up. Not the prettiest, but it doesn't have to be pretty. I just want it to be stronger. So I may apply another coat on all the booties once this dries, but I'm going to wait a few hours and we'll see if I think it needs it or not. This is what they look like after the first layer. It's been about 12 hours or so. I would like to put a second layer on, but I do need to take them with me this weekend in case we need them. So I will see how they hold up if she does wear them, and then when I get back, I'm going to add a second layer on to make it a bit stronger. The second coat has now dried and I'm really happy with how they turned out. This stuff is really amazing. I love that it dries clear and it dries with a like rubbery type of consistency so that they're still really flexible. And I'm really thinking that they're gonna hold up really well with this extra coating, and the benefit is I can just do it again if they get a little bit worn, and it definitely is going to extend the life of the booties. If you guys have any questions about the process or anything like that, definitely leave that in the comments below, and thank you for watching.